I understand why people hate the third one now.
If you have the internet, you've surely seen it by now.
I have not seen it, ever. What? Generic intro, and that goes Moo here, back with another kill count reaction. Today we're doing Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World, which has a 14-year age gap between the two of them. I know I still need to do Unfriended. That'll probably be next week's video, but I just wanted to keep the Jurassic Park movies, like these four, in back-to-back videos, just in case people are binging through the playlist. And you all showed so much support for that last video, which had Jurassic Park 1 and 2. You can check my reaction to that video, leave it right up there. Also, link down below in the description. Also, in a place on my channel with all of my other kill count reactions. Go in chronological order. And yeah, no, I've never seen Jurassic Park 3. I'm not sure if I watched Jurassic World in its full entirety. I know I saw the most recent one in theaters, but I've definitely seen most of the clips from Jurassic World because my father would watch it all the time. But I am excited to watch what is apparently the worst Jurassic Park movie with Jurassic Park 3, apparently. But shout out to the patrons. I do read every single one of your comments. Leave them down below, whether you're a patron or whether you're subscribed or not. But I hope you are subscribed, as we are like 2,000 subscribers away from 100,000 subscribers, which is a massive milestone. So thank you so much to all the people that watched in this video. I hope I can make your day a tiny little better. And I'm actually really excited to watch the Unfriended kill count, because I remember seeing trailers for that, being actually scared of it. But that'll probably be next week. It'll be a shorter video. This is going to be a rather long video, so buckle up and let's go ahead and jump into Jurassic Park 3.
Movie footage used in the kill count.
I believe Jurassic Park 3 is what people think is like the worst one.
And simply uses the footage for purposes of education,
so yeah, that's something.
Use. Please support filmmakers and the art of filmmaking by watching Jurassic Park 3 in its entirety on home media or streaming services.
I did not know they made a third Jurassic Park movie, so this is going to be new to me.
Welcome to the kill count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies.
I think I've seen most of the first Chris Pratt one.
And today we're looking at Jurassic
Park
Park
the most
3,
recent one.
released in 2001 by director Joe Johnston. I've got to be honest,
what a name.
JP3 is when the series loses me. I know Lost World had its problems, but it still had a sense of wonder and a grandiose vision to it. In Jurassic Park 3, the wonder is gone, and the story plays out like an episode of a 90s network drama. The whole movie has a real cheap look to it. The new characters are either annoying or useless dino food, and holy shit, there was just dino chase scene after dino chase scene after dino chase scene after
the effects.
Dino chase scene. Look, I love a good dino chase scene, but the operative word there is good. JP3's chase scenes
not good.
just serve to move the characters around the
also,
island
apparently
raptors
were actually,
which I guess I should be grateful
the size
for,
of
since the
chickens
rest of
or
the
something.
time, these assholes are just walking around the jungle talking to each other. And yeah, Sam Neill returns as Alan Grant, but it's obvious he doesn't give a fuck about this movie and just needed to build an extension on his house or something. But hey, there's a new dinosaur in town, the Spinosaurus, so that's
I don't
cool,
know when
guess.
those
I don't
existed
know, man.
relative to all
the T-Rex and Raptors, but whatevs. Maybe the new dino will lead to a higher body count. Let's find out.
It definitely will.
Kills.
If it's full of dino chase scenes.
The movie begins on Isla Sorna again, same island as Lost World.
Oh, it's that close to Costa Rica.
Okay. This dude Ben and his kid Eric are on a boat with tour guide Enrique, where they're about to dinosaur near the island in a dangerous attempt to get some great low-def camcorder footage of dinosaurs. Enrique and his helmsman hit some choppy water and
very choppy.
And that's the last we see of them. Because when Eric and Ben look down again after their tether gets tugged, they see that the boat is now empty.
What happened to them?
Hey, that's a good fucking question, Eric. Maybe a pteranodon killed them, although
they're not dinosaurs, apparently.
Disappeared to so
Pteranodons
quickly.
are not.
No, I guess JP3 just really liked the boat plot hole from Lost World and wanted to have its own. In any case, after the boat gets into more rocky territory, Ben disengages the parasail, and the two of them glide their asses straight down into Dino Island. That's
terrifying.
Let's welcome Alan Grant back to the franchise as he plays plastic dinosaurs with little Charlie over here. Charlie is Ellie Sattler's son, but put away that DNA kit, Maury, because Grant is not the father. Instead, our lovebirds from the original are now just old friends. Charlie's progenitor is Ellie's husband Mark, a State Department dude who works at the State Department. Remember that, because that's the only reason this character's in the movie. State Department. Got it? Good.
What
See
does
you
the
later,
State
Mark.
Department
Ellen and
do?
Ellie talk about good times and bad times, and Grant tells her that his latest sciencing shows that velociraptors could actually communicate.
They could talk to each other.
To a degree we never imagined.
Working with Grant on all this cutting-edge velociraptor
they
is
can
Billy
talk,
Brennan.
right?
Yes, a grown-ass man named Billy.
Also, how do we know what dinosaurs sounded like?
Future funding, probably because he just spent a whole bunch of it on a 3D printer that he uses to scan a raptor skull and sculpt a resonating chamber of a velociraptor. Huh, wonder what that'll sound like.
Oh, maybe that's how.
Oh, yeah, sounds like a velociraptor. Their bird calling
How do we
is
know?
interrupted by Paul Kirby, played by professional sad sack William H. Macy. He takes the two of them out to dinner with his mustache and his wife Amanda, played by Madison Madam Secretary Taya Leone, and the Kirbys introduce themselves as rich adventurers who have done it all.
We even
Really?
have 2 seats reserved on the first commercial flight to the moon.
Yeah, okay.
Huh?
Lady. For their upcoming anniversary,
We still-
they want
we
something
still don't do
super
that.
Special
Huh?
and Dino-tastic. So they've chartered a plane to fly over Isla Sorna, and now they're asking Grant to be their
Wait,
dino guide.
they
since he's
chartered a
seen
flight?
the
They don't have their
animals in
own?
person. Grant is hesitant, but in an exact copy of the trailer scene with Hammond from the original, Kirby offers to fund his dino digs, and that gets Grant and Billy to agree. On the plane to the island, we get a copy of something from the second movie too, since Billy's got a lucky pack just like Sarah Harding did. 15 minutes in, and this movie's already a bastardized clone. Kinda like the dinos it depicts. Sharing the plane with Grant and Billy are a trio of mercenaries, but instead of being interesting side characters,
Why
they're
they
just here to
not
get eaten.
just
So
security?
fuck 'em. Grant takes a nap and wakes up to the single most memed scene of the franchise. If you have the internet, you've surely seen it by now.
I have
It's
not
that
seen
talking
it, ever.
dinosaur.
Alan.
It's
What?
just a dream, of course, and the talking raptor is actually Billy the Boy Wonder, waking
Imagine-
up Grant
I
because
can't
they've
imagine
reached the
waking
island.
up
The
and-
Jurassic Park theme
What?
plays
They
for
still
like the
dinosaur
20th time in
dogs?
this movie already, as they
What?
fly into the island and soar over a bunch of nice plant-eating dinosaurs.
I
Grant
have
starts to
never seen
fulfill
that
his guide
clip
duties,
before.
but finds his audience
That's-
treating him like he's leading a museum tour, and they're a bunch of 5th graders, just completely ignoring him.
Mrs. Kirby, look. Out here you'll see a group of triceratops.
we have a landing strip up ahead. You want me to put it down?
That talk of landing the plane gets Grant angry, but before he can do
You shouldn't
anything,
do that.
this Cooper guy gets up and knocks him out in a real stupid POV shot of Bill Macy mugging and a
What?
fade to black. When Grant comes to, they've already landed on the island,
Why-
arming up and yelling into a megaphone for Eric and Ben. Then they hear a dinosaur roar and some gunshots. There's no build-up or anything on screen. Nope,
Dude,
this movie's
the
first dino
caliber's
sequence
needed.
happens out of sight, and the only evidence of it is when mercenaries Udesky and Nash run out of the jungle, all
Only
sorts
3
of
of them.
terrified.
That's
Everyone gets
kinda
back
nuts.
on the plane, and Nash begins a takeoff when Cooper
Nope, not
runs
gonna-
back out of the trees.
So you're
and
gonna hit
tries
by
to
the
flag them
plane?
down. For
He's gonna
his
hit by the
part,
plane.
Grant seems very concerned for this guy he's never met before, and who
Standing in front of a
recently
plane's
knocked him
crazy.
unconscious.
That's Cooper!
Nash says he can't stop the plane, but Cooper's boned either way, because a big old Spinosaurus rushes out of the jungle
Oh!
and eats him up good. Oh no,
Good
not
thing it kept
Cooper.
running.
He was so... a guy.
That's Cooper!
The plane clips the dinosaur, and that
Oh.
sends it crash landing in the jungle.
That'll do
in a
it.
very
You've heard of
violent
bird strikes.
manner, but that's okay. Nobody appears to be injured in the least bit. Turns out
What?
the plane is still high
That
up in the
would-
trees.
I don't-
Perfect height for the returning Spinosaurus.
They would
who
not be
proceeds to
okay.
tear off the front of the plane, or maybe it just falls off. I can't tell. This movie's cheap. The Spinosaurus then
Is it
attacks
cheap?
them
Why?
by sticking
Why'd
his
they
big
cheap out?
Spino face in the plane and grabbing Nash by the leg. He rips the
Oh,
mercenary
goodbye.
out and drops him to the jungle floor, then kills him pretty quickly with a
Was the
just off-screen
Spinosaurus
head bite
a
that
predator
probably
like
took it
this?
clean off. The fuselage falls from the foliage and crashes into the ground, then gets
And
kicked by the
everybody's
giant
completely
dinosaur
fine by
and
this.
rolls until it hits a tree. Still no injuries to these people?
Yeah,
What the
seriously.
hell? The Spinosaurus messes with them a bunch and tears into the hull of the plane. But while it's busy fishing between the seats for those complimentary packs of peanuts, everyone makes a getaway. Now, you may be like, Spino, what? Who the hell is this fin-backed fucker? That's hashtag
Yeah.
not my dinosaur. For everyone
Did they
saying
actually
that, don't worry. In no
create
time
one?
at all, the humans run into
Hello.
the classic T-Rex, and yet another dinosaur chase scene begins. Then we see what it's like when dinos collide, because the T-Rex and Spinosaurus get into a dino
I don't know.
fight!
Yeah, who would win this fight? Who would win
With
between
the
a
Tyrannosaurus
Spinosaurus
Rex
and a
as the indisputable
T-Rex?
fan favorite, you might expect him to win the match easily. But JP3 is trying to put the Spinosaurus over, so the newcomer snaps
Oh,
into
the-
the Rex's
what,
neck
the
and
Worf
puts him
effect?
down with a nasty snap, solidifying its role as the top heel in the film and roaring out a challenge. Come at me, motherfuckers! Spino's in the house! The Kirbys come
Spinosaurus
clean
is
to
really
Grant
that
and admit
brutal?
that they're a divorced couple who are
What does
looking
the
for their
fin
son
do?
Eric, the kid from the parasailing incident in the beginning. The other guy who was with Eric was Ben Hildebrand, Amanda's current boyfriend. So what, that Eric kid went on a tropical vacation with just his mom's boyfriend? What the hell is going on here?
Hold
Eric
up,
and Ben
what?
have been missing for 8 weeks, so Grant is like, dude, your son is dino done by now. I'm getting the hell out of here. As they all make their
Wait,
way through the jungle, more
that
truth
many
comes
weeks?
out about the Kirbys. They're not really adventurers, and they ain't even rich. Paul Kirby just owns a hardware store, so that science money he promised Grant and Billy ain't never
check.
gonna happen.
That's gonna
Sorry,
bounce.
boys, but that's what you get for trusting the guy who looks like Bill Macy to be a billionaire. The
I know who
group
Bill
comes
Macy
across
is.
the dinosaur
They didn't
parasail hanging
Google
from
them
a
or
tree
something?
and
This
find
is
Ben and
2001.
Eric's camcorder on the ground nearby. The tape inside shows the Kirbys the boat crash, as well as confirmation that Eric at least survived the parasail crash landing. Great for him, but when Grant and Billy go to get
That's
the
so
parasail
convenient.
down, we find out that Ben wasn't so lucky since his strung-up
Oh.
skeleton swings down and smacks Mrs. Kirby in the face. I knew you liked him on the thinner side, Amanda, but this guy needs to get more meat on them bones. Don't worry, though. Amanda tells Paul that she's too worried about their missing son to give a single rat's ass about her dead boyfriend.
There's eggs.
Ben, Paul, it's Eric.
Yeah, but can it be both? Or was that relationship just one of those rebound things? Then they find a nest of velociraptor eggs. Oh, scratch that. A whole bunch of nests of velociraptor
Why are they so close
They get out of
together?
there in a hurry, but Billy trails behind a bit, telling Grant he was just taking pictures of the nest. But, spoiler
He was
alert,
taking
Billy's
some.
a fucking liar. Through
And
the
he was-
trees, they
he
find
was
an
taking
old
them.
InGen structure.
That's
but
not
the
gonna
same
go
one
well.
from the Lost World, even though this takes place on the same island. God forbid we get that level of
Continuity. Yeah,
They
I
enter
was
the
say,
building
continuity?
and start
What's
doing
that?
some urban exploring, not noticing the dinosaurs running around in the background. We get some
How
classic
do they not
basic
hear that?
emasculation after Billy breaks open a vending machine for some surely expired food, because Paul Kirby tries to follow suit only to hurt his foot in the attempt. At least he ain't getting cucked like your character in Boogie Nights, dude. Next up on the tour is a dino
Never seen it.
birthing center, complete with a bunch of velocifetuses and test tubes in a scene ripped straight from Aliens. But hold on just a minute, that last raptor's not a fetus, it's full
Yeah,
grown.
wait,
and
it's
it's
about
playing
to
a
go through.
goddamn trick on them because it's alive.
Oh,
The
nice.
velocifeathered raptor.
How did it know how it
Charlie
looked to the other
Brown
side,
there,
though?
chases after the group and pushes at the door they're behind in a strangely human way. Amanda and Billy get away by trapping the raptor menace behind the door,
Nice.
but eventually it gets free and
course
chases
it
them
will.
all outside,
But yeah,
stopping on the
apparently
stoop
they
to
weren't
tell
that
all
big.
his
Apparently
homies,
the size
"Looks
of
like
chickens,
meat's back
which is
on the menu, boys."
also
The five
terrifying.
humans escape into a herd of hadrosaurs, which include the heel-headed Parasaurolophus and the crest-crowned Corythosaurus. Seems like a great
Why
way
do
to
you
get
know
trampled
this,
to me, but
James?
the plan works for the
Why?
most part, and everyone makes it into the trees, except Udesky, who runs into an off-screen raptor and is later seen trying to crawl away from them and not getting very far. The Kirbys wind up seeing Udesky from a tree and notice
didn't
that he's
eat
still alive.
or anything?
He's moving
Oh,
at least
okay.
a little bit. Amanda
Is he-
goes out
it's a
to
trap,
get
it's a
him,
trap,
but
it's a
get
trap,
this,
it's a trap.
Apparently, Udesky was left alive by the raptors
On
as part
purpose.
of a trap, and they almost snap up Amanda
Yep.
when she nearly falls out of the
Or-
tree.
I don't know if
Billy and
they're
Paul
that
get her
smart,
back up
would
on
they?
the branch, and the raptors honk some words at each other. They leave the clearing in a huff, making sure to finish the job and actually kill Udesky before they go. If they can't have him, no one can. Turns out the raptors were shouting, "Yo, we got Alan Grant in the house!" And they surround him, getting ready to have a good Sam meal. But then a
And-
bunch of smoke grenades land around
From
them, like they're on
who?
DE Isla Sorna, and they run away. Grant is rescued by a little Venonat-looking jungle lad who leads him away through the trees.
What?
The kid
Is this
is
like-
Eric Kirby, of course, and Grant tells him that his parents are on the island.
Together.
Together.
Yeah, kid, your
I just-
elaborate parent trap worked. Just kidding. Eric hasn't been parent
I'm-
trapping. He's been fucking surviving, feasting on, what is that, dog food? And keeping smaller
Maybe.
predators, like these cute little compies, away from the truck he's been living in by using T-Rex pee as a deterrent.
How do you get that? Yeah.
Don't want to know.
Actually,
I do
yeah,
wanna know.
kinda
How do you
kid, 'cause
do
it seems
that?
like something impossible to do. But fuck it, let's just have a pee joke, I guess. Who cares? While Grant gets to know
Is
their
it
kid
supposed to be
better,
funny?
the Kirbys have a boring-ass scene where they talk about how different they are.
You drive 5 miles under the speed limit, Paul. And I've totaled 3 cars in 3 years.
Looks
Oh,
like
wow.
their island time is
That's
bringing them back together,
kinda
but
crazy.
honestly, who cares? These characters suck. The next
Also,
day,
that
Grant
is a
and Eric
crazy
spot a
watch to
boat
be
that
wearing.
They figure would be mighty useful in getting off the island. On their way down to it, Billy stops in his tracks when he hears a generic cell phone ring.
That's my dad's satellite phone.
Yep, apparently in this movie, that's the jingle.
Who
for his
else's dad
dad's store.
still uses ringtones? My dad has custom
So Eric
ringtones
runs
for
off into the woods screaming for his parents.
family.
They hear him yelling and run out of the jungle, so look, great, we got a real nice Kirby family reunion going on. But when Eric says that he followed his dad's phone ring to find them, Paul says that the last time he saw the satellite phone was when he gave it to Nash on the plane. And you know what happened
Wait a
to
minute.
Nash.
He got the Spinosaurus. Oh! Wait, how in the
Now,
world did you
just
even
in
hear
case
that?
You thought you were seeing stuff, I'm here to reassure you that yes, you just saw a dinosaur jingle from its belly.
And also sneak up on them.
I actually don't hate that gag. It's pretty funny. The Spinosaurus chases
Also,
Grant
did
and
it
Eric
walk on
along
2
the
legs or
fence until
4?
they're able to find a gap and get through it. The Spinosaurus doesn't let that stop him though, and simply busts through the giant
Oh, okay,
fence that was
cool.
specifically built to keep him out. And yet, when the humans reach this
All
nearby
because
building
there's
and lock
4
the doors
people
on him,
getting
that's
away
enough
from
to
it.
turn him away. Yo, JP3, you making my brain hurt. Now that they have
That
a minute
doesn't
to
even make
breathe,
sense.
Grant discovers something rotten. A pair of eggs inside Billy's lucky pack. Hey,
Also,
this guy's
hopefully
stealing eggs.
nothing
He's an
has to
egg
be,
thief. Billy
blurred
took
for
the eggs so
copyright.
they could sell them and fund the dig site, since Paul Kirby's a fucking deadbeat. But Grant is still straight pissed at him. Instead of getting rid of them though, Grant decides to hold on to the eggs so they can negotiate a peace with the raptors later.
I guess they can
catch us with
communicate.
What if they catch us without him?
What? Is this like an in
True.
utero hostage situation now? They head down some stairs to get to the boat
Dude,
Grant
spiral
and Eric
staircases
saw,
are, like,
and we
the
actually get a
worst.
halfway decent sequence down here, because Grant realizes that they're inside a giant bird cage, and don't look
I guess
now,
with
but there's
people with, like,
something in the
larger
mist,
feet.
and that something is a pteranodon. Yeah, it
Oh.
ain't technically a dinosaur, but it's still
For
pretty
some reason
scary
it's
when
not.
it snatches Eric like a wig and flies away with him. It drops Eric off to be baby food for its
Oh, no.
kids, and the infant pterosaurs chase Eric across a bunch of rock spires, like he's in a level
Oh,
of Turok
wow.
Dinosaur Hunt. hunter. Billy realizes he's got to redeem himself for being the ovary burglar, so he leaps off a platform and unfurls the dinosaur glider, then skillfully maneuvers that bad boy around until he's able to pick up Eric and Evac. A flock of pteranodons fly at them.
Bro must be experienced with this.
So Billy has Eric drop down into the river, then rides the rest of it out, right into a wall. Meanwhile, everyone else is getting attacked by that first pteranodon, I think, who winds up breaking all the platforms into place and trapping himself underwater.
How heavy would those things be?
After Billy finally frees himself from the parasail harness, he's attacked by the pterosaurs in the water. Grant watches helplessly as Billy floats down the river, getting pecked at by
that's gotta be terrifying. It's like, what do you...
one looks back like, yo, you want some of this too, bitch? Grant does not, so he leaves. The 4 remaining humans make it outside of the birdcage, leaving the pterosaurs behind. They finally get on that boat and ride it down the river.
I'm about to say, no way that boat engine still works. Too many B words.
Of the classic scene from the original.
Not that B word.
Epic music and all. Yeah, maybe quit reminding me of that vastly superior movie, JP3. You're making me want to turn this off and go watch it instead. Night comes.
I mean, at least it like kind of looks good. I think it looks good.
Anymore. By now, it's been evacuated into one of these big steaming piles of shit. They find the phone, and Grant bravely puts it up to his ear, only to hear some kind of useless automated message. Then we get a totally wasted cameo by a Ceratosaurus who comes by to take one sniff at them and then peace out.
What is
no
that?
point to it at all, except to make a shit joke, I guess. Piss and shit jokes, ladies and gents. That's Jurassic Park 3 for you. Later
I guess
on,
2001 was a different time.
Grant decides to use the satellite phone's last bit of battery supply to call Ellie for help, but little Charlie answers the phone instead, and Grant has to convince him to go find his mommy. While he does that, the movie references Spielberg's Jaws as the Spinosaurus re-enters the picture, rising up out of the water and sending all the humans inside the boat's safety cage. The Spinosaurus river attack
for some reason I always
really great sequence,
think that those things are in the water,
but it's intercut with Charlie running
I guess because
around
Ark Survival
and
Evolved.
getting distracted by Barney on the TV, so that kind of sucks. By the time he gets
I had
the
a
phone
birthday
to
with
Ellie,
Barney.
the Spinosaurus has already bitten into a fuel tank and is pulling the safety cage off the boat. Grant is just
They're in a
barely
cage
able to
on
get
a
out,
boat?
but he needs help
Whose
on
idea
Site
was
B
this?
before they all go under the surface. And thankfully, that's enough for Ellie to understand. The cage sinks underwater, and Paul Kirby, who had mentioned earlier that he was taking swimming lessons, is the only one able to escape before the Spinosaurus pins it down against the bottom of the river. Paul climbs a nearby crane and waves his hands at the Spinosaurus in a stunt that I was surprised to learn was done mostly by Bill Macy himself. Crazy. The distraction works long enough for Grant to find a flare gun underwater, resurface, and fire that bad boy straight at the Spinosaurus. The flare ignites all that boat fuel that had spilled out and scares the Spinosaurus half to death. Fire bad! Then the crane that Paul's hanging from falls apart. But wait a minute, steel beams don't melt at that temperature. I think this
2001
was
really
inside job. The Spinosaurus
2001
remake he ain't about to stand
a
there
movie.
and get burnt, and the Kirby family has a wet reunion hug. That's nice. Still sucks for Grant though, who's stuck by himself with these shitty characters. They hear the ocean and figure they're close to the coast, but as they run for the finish line, they're stopped by a whole bunch of velociraptors.
And now the eggs.
Killed them already if it wasn't for them eggs they packing. The humans,
which I don't know why they feel like they need to.
And one of them gets all up in Amanda's grill, sniffing her hair a whole bunch. What is that, girl? That herbal essence? Grant lets that awkward moment go on a beat too long, then takes out the eggs and hands them over to Amanda, who returns them to the raptors like, here's your unborn babies back. Then Grant takes out his raptor kazoo to have fun, and starts screaming into it, confusing the shit out of people.
No. Call for help.
What the fuck? When did Grant
you
learn how
could
to speak
speak
Raptor? I don't
Raptor?
remember that being an option on those Muzzy tapes. The Raptors probably didn't even
tapes?
understand Grant through that thick human accent of his. Instead,
It's
they're
like
more
when you
interested
meow
in
at your
some
cat or
distant
bark at your dog,
helicopter
like-
sounds. They take off into the jungle, but not before grabbing the eggs back, leaving the
Very
humans
gently.
behind to finish up the shitty movie. They all run out to the beach where there's a David Lynchian shot of a man in a suit standing there by himself. But turns out he's not alone. The Navy and the Marines show up to rescue Grant and the Kirby family.
Not the
Remember
Navy.
how Ellie's husband works at the State Department? Yeah, it's because we needed this to happen. Hope the Kirby's plan on paying back us taxpayers.
Yeah,
In
no,
one
that's
more
gonna be real
ridiculous coda,
expensive.
we find that Billy survived and is somehow already on the helicopter all bandaged and cared for, even though we heard these choppers landing just a few
Why
minutes
weren't they
ago.
already on the
What
beach
fuck
waiting?
ever. The movie ends with the Kirby's apparently getting back
Maybe it was
together,
dangerous
Grant
to be
putting
out
his
there?
hat back on,
So
and
they
a
wanted to
close-up
keep
on
distance?
a Tyranotaint as it flies through the sky. The least this movie could do is give us a solid body count, but don't get your hopes up. I'll show you why at the numbers.
Yeah, it wasn't that
Sound good to
much.
you, buddy? Yeah, that sounds pretty great. Dude, you're a Carnotaurus. You're not even in this movie.
I know what a
Yeah, fuck you.
I don't even know what a Carnotaurus is.
Only 6 people died in Jurassic.
All guys.
Even though they could have killed everyone but Grant and the kid, and I would have been fine with it. The victims, like all JPs
Yeah.
so far, were exclusively male, but don't worry, the reign of King Blueberry is coming to an end soon.
Well, but the next
With a
one.
spelt runtime of 92 minutes, we had a kill on average.
That's actually
of
a really short
15.3
movie.
Minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Udesky.
So why?
The most on
He said
screen.
that they
Real nice,
cheaped
nasty
out.
neck snap
They didn't
there,
need
courtesy
to.
of The Trapper Raptor.
The
Dalton
first
said
movie
the
was
lamest
such a
kill will go to
massive
Enrique
success.
and his helmsman, who were killed in the beginning by who the fuck knows. And And Diamond Dino, for coolest dinosaur sequence, goes to the Spinosaurus attack on the river. It's the best any dinosaur ever looks in the movie, and it's got a nice little structure to it, complete with a climactic water on fire ending. So
and a cage underwater. So what are you more afraid of?
2001.
Being trapped in a cage underwater or a dinosaur?
Dormant for over a dozen years. When it re-emerged in 2015, it was no longer a Jurassic Park, but a Jurassic World. We'll be looking at that fantacular picture next week, but until then,
no, we're doing this video.
This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching this week's Kill Count.
Yeah,
I want to thank a couple of patrons like Alexander Zirkle, Lynn Klein, and Martin
Shout out to the
Sandoval.
patrons.
My dinosaur collection continues to grow. And I got a nice little blue for the Kill Count next week. As you're watching this, I'm in San Diego for Comic-Con. If you're in the city or at the convention, let me know. We can meet up.
I still
Follow me
believe in the
on
one
Twitter at
convention.
James, and I'll announce a time and place for an official meetup there. All right, everyone, be good people.
I still have only been to one convention. It was 2019. I want to go to more.
Makes no claim of ownership and simply uses the
so
footage
much fun.
for purposes of education, commentary, and criticism.
So this is the Chris Pratt one. This is the first of the Chris Pratt one. I understand why people hate the third one now. After the first and second one. I mean, the second one was as good as the first one.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims
it wasn't
in all our favorite
as bad as the
movies.
third one.
I'm James A. Janice, and today
I'm
we're
not sure
looking
how
at
people feel about the
Jurassic
Chris
World,
Pratt ones.
released in 2015. Jurassic World is sort of a soft reboot of the Jurassic franchise that reintroduces it to a new generation. In it, John Hammond's dream has finally been realized, and Isla Nublar is home to a fully functional dinosaur amusement park. Jurassic World is a spectacle of a film, the very definition of a summer blockbuster. The theme park it features is comprehensively
I think this movie was successful, right? I mean, they made 3 of them, right?
I love everything it does involving the park itself, from the SeaWorld-like Mosasaurus show down to those adorable sauropod helium balloons. But the movie loses me with pretty much everything else. It's mostly the characters that annoy me. They all feel like cheap stereotypes with about as much depth to them as a puddle in the desert. And I can't stand when a movie feels the need to constantly tell me how cool its lead hero is. Just have him be cool and shut up about it. Also, while I love a good callback, this movie leans way too heavily on nostalgia for the original in a very Force Awakens type way. But if you're all about big numbers, then Jurassic World is probably your favorite.
Be surprised
of the
I even know
series,
that's the
when
Star
it
Wars
comes to
movie.
kills, it delivers. So let's get to them.
Yeah, no, I think it's not going to be a blueberry pie chart anymore.
The movie begins with the dinosaur cracking open to reveal a title card. But as that little CG raptor starts to push it real good, we'll go ahead and meet some annoying kids. Younger bro Gray and his swoopy-haired older bro Zach are the sons of Karen, the criminally underused Judy Greer, and Dunder Mifflin CFO Scott. The parents see their kids off at the airport without telling them the real shit going on here. They looking to get a divorce. And how does that play into the movie's story? That's a good question that I'm still waiting on an answer for. But Zach and Gray won't have to worry about that irrelevant domestic downfall as they head to Isla Nublar, making its return to the series.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen
was the
these.
for JP's
so I've only seen clips
Isla
of this
Nublar
movie.
Is now straight bumping because it's the home to Jurassic World, a fully armed and operational.
Yeah, there's a lot of people I don't like that.
Hey, remember in the original when that epic John Williams score played the first time we saw a full dinosaur? Let's see how they use that music in this movie.
Let's go.
Dude, she said we had to wait.
I don't want
Wait,
it anymore.
when they're just in the hotel? I mean, to be fair, very nice room. Crazy view. That looks expensive.
So for like going out onto the hotel balcony, that's cool.
I mean,
I
guess it's supposed to be about the park and not dinosaurs later.
And it is mostly CG. Zach and Gray's aunt is this pair of high heels played by Bryce Dallas Howard, who does all sorts of fun stuff.
She reminds me of
says her
somebody
character's
else.
name for the audience real naturally.
And I am Claire.
She says fun catchphrases directly to the camera.
Welcome to Jurassic World.
And she spells out the premise of the movie.
No one's impressed by a dinosaur anymore.
They should be.
Wait, hold up. What the fuck? People have been writing Pirates of the Caribbean for 50 goddamn years, and you're telling me they're all of a sudden bored of seeing real-life dinosaurs? They're dinosaurs! I'm still excited about these plastic fucking toys, dude. Lucky for these nameless greedy
Of course
investors,
James is.
Claire's got a solution to all this dino fatigue. A genetically modified dinosaur named the Indominus Rex. B.D. Wong returns as Dr. Henry Wu to explain that the I-Rex was designed
Oh, so it is the same
DNA
dude.
Multiple animals.
Okay.
As everyone knows that kind of genetic rockpotting has never backfired before. But enough about scientific arrogance. Let's get a good look at this park. This place
Isn't Jimmy
is
Buffett in
downright
this?
friggin'
Rest in
awesome.
peace.
The centerpiece is the pyramidal Samsung Innovation Center, which seems like exactly the type of place that would exist in a modern-day dino park, full of fun stuff for kids and learning screens that even feature a cameo from my homeboy, Mr. DNA. In the Innovation Center, the kids finally meet up with their Aunt Claire, who gives them some spending money and an Irish babysitter named Zara to watch over them, since Claire's way too much of a working woman to have it all. A career and a family? Get out of here. She leaves her nephews and
I feel like that was a
hustles off
reference to
the Park
something.
Command Center, where a couple of fun characters are hiding out.
Also,
Lori
these people
Struthers,
just do this
played by
every
Jake
day.
Johnson, and Vivian
Like
Krill,
they're
played by Ho-Ho the Elf, Lauren Lapkus.
putting
I like
something
them
on
because they're
foreign
funny and seem like real
planet.
people. And also because Lowry echoes my feelings about this franchise.
That first park was legit.
Again, JP sequels, maybe stop always reminding us of the original and just try to focus on your own merits. Claire tells them that a
most
new
movies
branding
nowadays
deal has
are
just gone through for the park.
remakes.
Verizon Wireless presents the Indominus Rex.
Which would be a funny joke if this movie wasn't also actually a commercial for stuff like Samsung and Mercedes. Hanging a lampshade on it doesn't mean it's not product placement, and it's not like that was a Wayne's World caliber joke.
Contractor, no. I will not bow to any sponsor.
I have
Claire
turned
hops into
down
a helicopter
countless.
with park owner Simon Masrani, played by the
Countless
effortlessly cool.
sponsored. I actually had one
The backstory here is that the Masrani
really
Corporation
massive
bought
brand.
InGen and now
Huge
owns
brand.
all these dinosaurs. Even though Mr.
Reach out
Masrani
to me.
himself is less concerned with bottom lines and more concerned with stating the obvious.
We're flying.
Yes, you are, Simon.
Yeah.
Very good. He flies the chopper over to the Indominus Rex farm to check out the new park asset.
that
and
doesn't
it's
look
looking
very
to be
safe.
a total beast. It needs extra high walls to keep it in. It's already tried to break
Also,
through the glass
what
windows
were
of
they
the paddock.
doing
and it's got thermal
with
vision
that
to see heat
tool
patterns,
there?
like a predator.
Throwing
because
sparks?
of how dangerous this dinosaur is, Masrani tells Claire that they need a super badass to come in and help with it. Enter Star-Lord Owen Grady, played by box office darling
Scotty
Chris Pratt.
Hattenberg,
Grady's a
okay.
Navy vet who has developed a relationship
Some
with
of
a
you
quadrant of velociraptors
know what I'm talking
led by
about.
Blue, who's just the cutest little dinosaur. He shows how much he can control the dinos when a younger employee falls into the pen with them. Grady rushes to the rescue and holds
Yep.
the raptors at bay with some stern words and outstretched
Do you think he'd be
arms.
harnessed
He can
in?
only control them so much, though, and when he finally tumbles back out of the gate, they end up snapping at him. Still, Grady's boss Vic Hoskins, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, thinks that the raptors have been trained well enough to be used as weapons of war in an effort to save the
Which would be
lives of
terrifying.
soldiers. Kind of like drones, but, you know, with an appetite for humans. He warns Grady
I mean,
that InGen
they
has
are
been
kind
looking
of
to
built
do this
different.
for quite some time, and that its eventuality is inevitable.
This is gonna happen. With or without you boys.
Also,
Grady lives
watching the
out
right
in a
wrist.
metal trailer,
Must be
and he's
left-handed.
working on his hog like a real cool guy when Claire comes to find him wearing her best Commander Krennic
To be fair, a
cosplay.
motorcycle
Wait,
on the
hold
island wouldn't
on,
be a
I
bad
forget.
idea.
Is Owen Grady supposed to be cool, or... Oh my god, he
He's
just
cool.
snatched a bug out the air! Owen Grady's a badass! Claire's request
Wait,
for
really? I
Grady
do
to
that?
come help with the Indominus
What?
is complicated by the fact that these two apparently went on a date one time, and it did
One
not
time.
work out well, because she's too
Just a
uptight.
single
and
one?
He's so loosey-goosey. What an interesting and unique character dynamic to have. Good thing this movie always has the
Wait,
park
didn't the
itself,
last
which
one just
includes
have,
a kids
like,
area
Kirby,
that's
wife
literally
and
the
husband?
greatest thing
Oh.
I've ever seen. Look at these kids riding a triceratops, petting a gallimimus, hugging an apatosaurus. Oh my god!
Look at
Too
its
bad
face.
Jack's a freaking goober and isn't impressed with anything he's seen so far, save for that one chick he saw on the ferry, or that one chick he sees on the train, or that one chick he sees in line for the gyrosphere.
Okay, bro.
Actually, yeah, thinking back to my high school days, this checks out. Sounds like a real teen boy.
Wait,
he sees
really?
an opportunity when Zara is
I
distracted
had a
on the
very
phone with
different
business
teenage
shit, so he and
experience.
Gray run away from her to have an unsupervised park day to themselves. They head to a Mosasaurus show,
Which,
where Bruce
dude,
the Shark
I would
is
love to
fed
see a
the giant
Mosasaurus.
aquatic prehistoric beast who's not technically a dinosaur. It's a mosasaur, obviously. The resulting
What?
splash
How's that not
is
a-
impressive enough to get a smile out of cynical Zach, even though it didn't have boobs. And the kids are even more blown away after the bleachers are lowered down to let the audience see
I can't
inside the
imagine how
tank,
thick
a
that
fun
glass
visual
is.
that Steven Spielberg himself suggested. It's pretty cool, but we're not done with cool stuff just yet.
Hey, you want to see something else cool?
Then check out the all-new
Oh.
Mercedes-Benz GLE Coupe. Yeah, that's literally what the
Why?
movie cuts
Okay,
to after
yeah,
that
no.
part, because half of Jurassic World is a commercial.
Mercedes is doing
Stepping
that,
out of
Porsche is doing
world-class
that.
vehicle
They keep
is
calling
Claire
these cars
Grady, who
coupes, but
just
they have 4
arrived at
doors.
the Indominus pad.
Why?
Grady reacts to the dinosaur's name like I did.
Maybe coupe doesn't necessarily
After Claire admits to Grady
mean
that she
2-door,
doesn't know
but
exactly what kind of
kinda
DNA is
weird.
inside the Indominus,
I don't
they
understand
run into
that.
a problem when they see
I mean,
that there
they're
are
beautiful
no
cars, but-
thermal signals being detected inside the pen. Between that and the claw markings that Grady finds on the wall, it looks like this Indominus has escaped the paddock. So Claire races through the jungle in her stylish
That
yet
looks like a
functional
commercial.
GLE 450 AMG Sport and calls the command center to put them on
AMG
high
Sport.
alert. But when they look for the
That's
Indominus's
redundant.
tracker, they see that it's still in the cage. That's bad news for Grady and these other dudes who are inside the pen checking it out. Or at least bad news for the other guys. This movie's not about to kill Chris Pratt. But
No,
when that
absolutely
Indominus
not.
Rex reappears,
Not
it
on the
shows
first
that it's
one.
fine killing non-character
Do they plan on
employees
doing
like
3 of
this
these
guy
movies
Elton, who
after the
snatched
first
up
one,
by
or
the
are they gonna do a
Indominus.
4th one? I
After
don't
nice
know.
off-screen crunch, we even get to see some some of the feeding sessions. Solid first kill, J-World. Grady bolts for the closing pen doors and makes it out of there just in time. But after briefly getting stuck in them, the Indominus also breaks out of the paddock. Grady watches from beneath a Jeep as this guy Nick is exposed to the designer dino and very promptly eaten from a seated position. Hey, at least he was sitting on the ground and not a toilet. To hide from the
why is it so hungry? Are they not feeding it?
Gives himself a fuel line rinse to ward off both smell and
that's gonna
heat,
feel terrible
Seems
later,
unlikely
by the way.
to cool down a body's thermal pattern, but it works well enough, and the Indominus pieces out to go see what this Jurassic World place is all about. Although the I-Rex is now on the loose, park owner Masrani says they need to collect the asset quietly instead of warning the park guests about the danger.
How much did they have invested in that?
Hippy dippy dude who didn't care about profits before is now fine with risking lives for the sake of his park. And so an ACU squad, that's Asset Containment Unit, suits up and gets ready to kick some asset. Let's briefly check in on Claire's nephews, who are riding a train while the
turned around that entire time.
The original is turned into a tourist attraction, which is not a criticism, by the way. I think that's friggin' great. Gray tells his older brother that he's figured out their parents are getting divorced, because that's a fun thing to keep bringing up in this dinosaur adventure film. Seriously, why does this subplot exist?
Although the casting of these two as brothers pretty good.
From his family's failure to stay together. Grady shows up to the command center to watch the Indominus reacquisition mission happen in real time. The ACU gets out of their high-powered Mercedes-Benz G63.
Wait, wait a minute. Didn't I say in the last video that why don't they have G-Wagons?
Dino damage on the ground. Looks like the Indominus tore out its own tracking device. This must be one small dinosaur. And guess what? It can also camouflage. It can camouflage! It can indeed. Time to up the shit out of this kill count, because we're adding 8 bodies to the list right now. First is Hamada, who's thrown down and stomped on in a real Cartarian way. Next is a couple of troopers who are whipped and thrown against tree branches. Their deaths confirmed by the aliens-like monitor that shows all the soldiers flatlining out of the movie. Another
which is kind of crazy that they just have that connection.
Two more get their
Turns out his name was Lee.
One dude is tossed up and eaten by the Indominus, showering the camera down below with CG blood. And as everyone else makes their getaway, the last casualty bravely fires at the beast until he too.
Yeah, no, that's not going to do it.
That could have gone a little better.
Evacuate the island.
Claire and Masrani refuse to do that because, you know, money. But Claire does agree to order all the guests back down to the southern part of the island. The order goes out too late to reach Zach.
Do you think it would
because they've already headed out in the gyrosphere, which is probably this movie's most interesting and iconic new addition to the series. Inside the gyrosphere,
it would be kind of cool.
There's an extremely tram tour type video starring Jimmy Fallon, you know, doing his Jimmy Fallon shtick. Too bad the movie didn't get cordoned for some gyro karaoke. As they take the big hamster ball through a herd of herbivores, they get a message warning them that the ride is over and they need to come back.
Yeah, you would think it would like return on its own.
Park safety oversight, these kids are able to just take control of the ball.
Yeah, no, that's a crazy oversight. You think it was just kind of like, oh yeah, return home.
Down the Dino Highway. Claire tries to call the boys, but you know, ball reception, so they get disconnected.
Really?
And instead of taking her phone call as a sign that something's wrong, Zach gets the bright idea to take the ball through a restricted gate and down into the dino jungle, right up to a herd of Ankylosauruses. Ankylosauruses are a known dino delicacy,
I remember those.
so in no time at all,
the
Indominus Rex comes around for some fine dino dining.
I literally learned about dinosaurs through Ark Survival Evolved.
Like, and one of the armored herbivores hits the gyrosphere
that'll
with
do
its
it.
club tail. The boys watch from their damaged ball as the Indominus kills the Ankylo boy by biting its head and snapping its neck. Then it turns its attention to renowned Canadian sketch comedy duo Kids in the Ball and punctures the protective glass with a nail. It has a harder time when it tries to bite through the ball, and during its struggle, the boys manage to get out of the capsule and make a run for it. The I-Rex chases them out
somehow.
of the trees
Apparently,
to a waterfall,
it'd be very easy to
escape
outrun a
from the
T-Rex,
monster's jaws.
according to the comments on the last
gets
video.
Tired of waiting for them to resurface and leaves. You kids are lucky that thing doesn't have any killer bee DNA. By this point, Claire has recruited Grady to help her look for the boys, but instead they first find a dying Apatosaurus in the movie's only use of an animatronic dinosaur instead of CG. And boy, does it look good. Stan Winston would be proud of Legacy Effects, the company that made this dinosaur head and was founded by
the amount of time that went into making
such an emotional-looking dinosaur that when it dies in front of them, the Claire model business bot finally sheds a tear. She might not want to look over that hill then, where there are 5 more sauropod corpses lying in the sun.
Also, are those like normal birds or are those dinosaur birds?
They track Zach and Grace's footprints from the broken Jimmy Fallon ball to the waterfall diving board, where Grady tries to send Claire back to the park because she shouldn't be out in the jungle in those heels of hers. In response, she gives herself a quick sporty makeover and insists on coming with him to find her nephews. Said nephews find their way through the jungle
birds rocking
to
a lever action,
and it turns out to be the old visitor center from the first movie, only, you know, a little bit reclaimed by nature now. They take a torchlit tour through the movie audience's nostalgia and top it all off with some goggles that are probably heavy, meaning they're expensive. Put them back, Ray. Then they find a broken down Jeep.
You remember when we fixed up Grandpa's old Malibu, right?
Yeah, kids.
They
fix
did
this
that?
decrepit jungle Jeep. That shouldn't be difficult at all. Hey, look, it's working. It's working.
it is.
They drive off right as Grady and Claire
Is this
get to
one
the old facility.
like the 29?
Shit time in there, y'all. The Indominus Rex also arrives
on
at the
that means
facility,
something,
breaking
stand for
the roof
something.
with its face and chasing Grady and Claire back out into the jungle, where Claire calls in the I-Rex's position to the command center. Masrani decides to play the hero and fly a chopper on his own.
Yeah, this
to get
doesn't
that
go well.
dino, which would surely upset his stockholders if they knew of this shit. He flies to where the Indominus is, near the aviary, and his chopper shoots at the dinosaur until it crashes through the birdhouse and starts scaring a whole bunch of
his chopper has that option.
The pterosaurs escape out of the broken birdhouse and fly up towards Masrani's chopper. And
for some reason,
that ain't good.
Yeah, no,
Another
that's
falls
not good.
out and gets friggin' air speared by a pteranodon, while another
Why are they flying that close to it?
And the co-pilot. Masrani stays alive just long enough for his bird to get knocked around and fall crashing through the roof of the aviary, where it spirals down into a big fiery explosion that kills the park owner in a suitably undignified way. The hole from his chopper allows pretty much all the other pterosaurs to escape and fly out into the wild, which kind of begs the question of why they bred these flying fuckers in the first place.
And so many of them.
A flight risk. As the boys drive their Jeep back to the theme park area.
Can they fly to like the mainland?
Was so concerned about me kill counting, even though I'll show you it's not that hard. See, all the guests are currently stuck in the downtown Dino Land section of the park when in flies that giant flock of pterosaurs, who start tackling into and occasionally grabbing the guests as they try to flee. But here's the thing,
just let them
nobody's
go.
Actually getting murdered. Yeah,
they're just kind of like
injured, some glass
messing
gets
with
broken,
them.
and this one dude is pecked at on the ground. But the only things I see getting killed for show are these two margaritas Jimmy Buffett. Zara tries to do her job and watch over the kids as they run through all this chaos.
Oh yeah, she exists.
We get the most mean-spirited kill of the franchise after she's lifted up by a pteranodon and passed around like a football. It'd be one thing to just kill this.
Why are they so ready to like
instead,
carry?
The pterosaurs drop her into the Mosasaurus tank, then proceed to dive bomb underwater so they can snatch her up and give her a dino baptism.
Why would they go for that one when there's all these people
finally,
just out and about?
The Mosasaurus gets tired of all that ruckus and rises up from the water to shut.
Yeah, they do make a ruckus. That would get its attention.
Mighty snap. It's an excessive death that probably should have been reserved for Hoskins, but instead went to the believer.
Shirt came from Zara.
But she's the only death here, y'all.
That's
I
funny.
went through and scanned the background repeatedly and saw no other confirmed kills, even though this rowdy Dimorphodon tried to add Grady to the count when he landed on his back and attacked him. Claire rescues Grady with a gun butt smash and a whole bunch of tranks, and then the two have a real awkward middle school dance little kiss.
What?
It probably looks so weird because director Colin Trevorrow and Chris Pratt didn't tell Bryce Dallas Howard it was going to happen. She was completely unprepared for it.
What?
It shows. In any case,
they didn't tell her that was going to happen?
Their nephews, who are going to spend the rest of this movie telling us how fucking badass
Owen Grady is that a normal thing to do with Hollywood?
I am never leaving you as long as you live. No, him. Yeah, definitely him.
Did you kids not just see a minute ago when your aunt shrank that Dimorphodon up like she was rolling effing Tembo? With Masrani dead, Hoskins makes his move and takes over the command center with his new InGen team of private security guards who arrive via helicopter with a bang, or at least a gunshot.
Also, how are they?
Hoskins wants to take the Raptors
can you take helicopters that far?
And use
like,
them to chase down the Indominus
off the
Rex.
coast to Costa Rica like that?
Find out about it and roll up so Grady can punch
200 miles or something
and impress these kids some more. But face punch or not, Hoskins assures Grady that this plan is going off no matter what.
With or without you.
So Grady reluctantly agrees to lead a team of InGen dudes to go hunt down the Indominus with his raptors, giving them the scent of the designer dino with that hunk of flesh they found in the jungle. After he introduces the raptors by name to the kids, the movie assures us, in case we've forgotten, that Owen Grady is real fucking cool.
This one's called Blue. She's the beta.
Who's the alpha?
You're looking at him, kid.
Oh, he's so fucking cool and alpha. But the kids aren't that alpha.
They used that for like the trailers, didn't they?
Armored truck to stay safe inside during the mission. With one overacted button push, we're off. The Raptors run out into the jungle with little
you need to put that much emphasis on pushing a button?
Feed for everyone else to watch on tablets. Owen Grady rides his motorcycle among them like he's part of the pack. And for once, I actually believe that this dude is a legit badass. Do more of this, Jurassic World.
That's
show, don't tell.
You can't really even see what's on the ground.
We know. We just saw. You don't have to tell us.
That's not really a motorcycle you'd use for that either.
When they find something, which ends up being the Indominus Rex, who steps out of the trees and stares the raptors down. Then they start talking to each other.
Oh yeah, because isn't it like part raptor?
Dinosaur. Despite the language barrier, Grady comes to an understanding.
That thing's part raptor.
And so it can talk to him.
Apparently this new alpha just told the rest of the crew to go destroy all humans. The soldiers open fire on the Indominus, but not
instead
even
of the
a rocket
raptors,
launcher can put
which
it
I
down
guess
for good,
they
and it just
see that
runs
as
away
also
into
that was
the
an
jungle. That's
anti-tank
when Blue
launcher.
And the betas make their move. In a scene that's way too Call of Duty for my liking, a total of, I believe, 7 security guards are killed by the raptors. It's kind of hard to tell, what with all the broken video feeds feeds and grainy night vision footage, but that's what I'm going with. 7 dudes.
Fair.
Cool. After the slaughter, Grady runs into Charlie, who doesn't kill him right away. Shame I don't count dinosaurs on the list though, because Charlie gets blown the fuck up by a missile launcher to end that heart-to-heart. I'm kind of sad.
How do you have a name like Charlie and Blue?
Adorable, even if they are killing machines. Back at the raptor pen, a soldier with a bloody hand shows up like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Before he
Why
gets
would he
pounced
open the
on and
door?
killed by Delta right in front of the boys, adding yet another nameless soldier dude to the list. The raptors chase after the armored truck in an uninspired.
Wait, it's an
kind of
armored
chase
truck,
scene
but the
that bored
glass is
crap out
that
of me,
breakable?
especially when it just repeated the side view mirror shot from the original for nostalgia. It ends with the boys electroshocking a raptor off the back of the truck and Owen joining them on his bike so they can all drive away to safety. They head back to downtown Dino Land and into the Hammond Creation Lab only to find it's been evacuated. And apparently,
probably a
as
good
revealed
thing.
in a shady phone call, young innocent Dr. Henry Wu from the first film has been working with evil Hoskins the whole time. Henry, what would Hammond say?
Push. Push.
Yeah, that's right. He'd probably just say push, push. As part of the deal, Wu got a big paycheck to take home on his helicopter off the island.
And
while
that's
Hoskins
we've
and
seen
Biscuit
how
got some
helicopters
primo dino
go
DNA
in this
to use for the military.
movie
Hoskins
so far.
tries to give a bad guy
all the
monologue
movies.
to our protagonists, but he gets interrupted by Delta coming through the door. Delta
Hello.
corners him, and his pathetic begging doesn't do any good, because she snaps his hand, probably clean off, and as our heroes run away, she mauls him to death just off screen behind some
that'll do
equipment.
it.
A real simple death compared to the drawing and quartering of Zara earlier. But Delta is still acting feral and chases Grady, Claire, and the kids through the innovation
Are they not
center.
like
On their
pack
way
animals?
out, Grady is all like, "I choose you, Dilophosaurus," and it works. Delta is confused. Our heroes run
by
outside,
hologram.
only
At
to
least
be cornered
their
by
eyes
Blue
work
and
like
Echo,
that.
who are shortly joined by Delta, who wants to join in all their raptor games, like Monopoly. Grady musters up all his dad's skills and reaches a hand out towards Blue, and Blue responds
course
by
I know
being
Blue.
chill enough for Grady to remove the Velocicam from her head. Grady's a big advocate for Veloci privacy rights. Then the Indominus Rex shows up because it's the end of the movie and it has to, but by now Blue has an understanding with Grady, who has become the alpha of the pack yet again. Blue
Which
goes
is
to
weird,
defend Grady
'cause, like,
with a
why
scream,
in the
but she
world-
gets knocked aside by the I-Rex.
That's
and eats.
crazy,
Grady
by the
gives
way.
a whistle that sends Delta and
To
Echo
walk away
running
from
into
that?
action against the Indominus. Too bad they proved to be no match. Delta gets bitten and thrown straight into a burner that incinerates her, while Echo
Instantly.
is just bitten and thrown off screen. As the kids hide in a merch stand, Claire sets out to even up the match a bit. She runs to a paddock and tells Lowry to open it from the control room. After some
And
minor
that's the
pushback, he
T-Rex.
does. And when Claire ignites that road flare, you know what we're in for. It's the motherfucking T-Rex! Rexy specifically, the one from the
Fight
original film. And Claire leads
Some
it
of you
in a
get that
Gold
reference.
Blumian way, only, you know, in heels. Straight
In
to the
heels is
Indominus
crazy.
Rex, who she tosses the flare at. That sets off one of the best parts of this movie. Another awesome dino fight!
But then the T-Rex lost to the
This time, it's
Spinosaurus in the last
OG
one.
Tyrannosaurus Rex against the flashy newcomer Indominus Rex, and they just bang around against each other, snapping at every inch of dino skin
that's how they would
see and
fight,
crashing through
kind
every
of,
building
yeah.
in sight. After a while, it looks like the Indominus has the match on lock, but as it goes for the pin, Blue's music starts playing, and the recently face-turned Velociraptor runs down the ramp and into the foray. Again, despite the fact that this
'Cause
is all
Blue is
CG,
just
I think it's
that.
pretty freaking cool, man.
Is it
Just a
all
bunch of
CG?
dinosaurs
I guess that
fighting
would
each
make
other,
sense. I don't know how they
jumping
would
around,
make that
getting body
practical.
slammed. I love it. It ends after they all yell at each other, and the Mosasaurus once
Yeah.
again has to ask for some peace and goddamn quiet.
Look at
So
the
he splashes
Mosasaurus,
out the
just
water,
that.
grabs the I-Rex by the neck,
Just
and
get off my
wrestles it
lawn.
back into the giant water tank with it. But because the audience likes both Rexy and Blue, and this movie ain't trying to challenge anyone with moral quandaries, the two dinos come to an unlikely peaceful understanding, and the dino fight ends right there. Grady steps out of his hiding spot, maybe to go give Blue a good belly rub, but Blue is super confused by her own feelings right now, so
Fair.
she runs away, content with all the bank she's about to make off all the merchandising rights she sold.
What?
The next morning,
Wait, did they actually
Aaron and
make
Scott get to the
merchandising
island and
rights
find
out
the
of
kids safe and sound.
Blue the
So let's have a
Raptor?
round of hugs.
Like, as a
Nothing
toy,
like
maybe?
your kids almost getting eaten by previously extinct animals to really save a marriage. Claire and Grady walk off
Did
together.
they
in
actually save the
silhouette,
marriage?
Another relationship
That-
forged out of a stressful near-death situation that is sure to last. The movie ends with Rexy stepping up onto the chopper pad and roaring at the now abandoned amusement park. Quite a dino
Yeah,
spectacle.
I guess it's
now,
now
even though I didn't
Rex's
count dinosaurs,
kingdom.
will this Jurassic kill count be the biggest one yet?
I
Let's
think
find
so.
out and look at the
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, this has to be. It's also not gonna be Blueberry. What was that audio from? Was that a reference?
By my
Had to be.
count, 23 people died in Jurassic World, the most of the series so far.
Wow,
The
and-
victims were almost entirely male,
Except
but
for
did include
one.
Zara as the first woman killed in the series. So
Wait,
yeah, for progress.
oh.
Right? With a runtime
gotta
of
start
124
somewhere.
minutes, we wound up with a kill on average every 5.39 minutes.
Pretty good.
I guess I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Zara. Even though
The
it still
first.
kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Or not the
And
first,
no,
but
not because she's a woman. It just seems weird to have this put-upon
What is the
character
first,
getting dunked by pteranodons like
Yeah,
she
it's
a
like, oh yeah, she
basketball and they have a bunch
exists.
of Air Jordans. Still, it's the
Wait,
most
what are you talking about,
elaborate
Air
death,
Jordans?
and it's made extra impressive when you learn
passed
that
around like
actress
Air Jordan,
Katie
okay.
McGrath did all her own stunts for this sequence.
Okay,
That's
now
just freaking
that's
awesome,
impressive.
and it looks like a total blast. Dual machete for lamest kill will go to the 7 InGen soldiers killed by the Raptor pack,
And,
because it's very
yeah,
difficult to tell what's going on there, and I'm not even sure I got the number of casualties.
Also, why are some of them
Finally,
in
Dino
night vision, some of them like
Coolest
blue?
Dinosaur sequence will go to the Dino Petting Zoo. Who said this award had to go to action sequences? Nothing in this movie got a
That
bigger reaction out
would
of
be
me
so
than seeing
precious.
those kids play with adorable baby dinosaurs. Seriously, listen to this baby Gallimimus chirp. It's so fucking
Aw.
cute! And that's it. Jurassic
Like a little
World came
kid.
out in 2015 and made a ludicrous amount of money.
Oh,
3
it
years
did?
later, and it's still the 5th highest grossing film of all time. I
Huh?
can't cover the sequel, Fallen Kingdom, until it's out on Blu-ray. But until then,
Oh.
I'm James Agent East.
Well, that'll come
This
down-
has been the Kill
down
Count.
the line
Thanks a
later.
lot for watching this week's Kill
This
Count.
was
I wanna thank
crazy.
a couple of
Responding
patrons
to
like
comments.
Ronnie Shires, Gambit,
I read
and
all your
Nicholas
comments.
Vargas. That was the longest
Next week will be
episode of the Kill
Unfriended.
Count yet. There was just so
Was
much
it?
to comment
Oh,
about.
and we did-
Remember,
oh,
everyone,
really?
we can all have different
I guess
opinions
I'm used
about
to triple
movies,
headers.
'cause I know a lot of you love Jurassic World. It was fun to revisit the series. Plus, now I have a whole bunch of dinosaur toys
Wait,
to
do
play
people-
with. Or, let's be real, for Lucy to play with. All right, be good people.
Okay. What is your opinion on these movies? Like the third one and the Chris Pratt ones. I don't know if people like the Chris Pratt ones or not. Like I said, I've seen like clips of the first one. I've seen clips of this one. I don't know if I've watched the full one or watched clips of the second one, but I know for sure I did watch the third one in theaters when that came out, like last year or the year before that. I'm not really sure though, but yeah, no, Jurassic Park 3 was a real rough one. Wow, this is actually going to be one of the longer kill counts I've done. And it's only a double header, it's not even a triple header. But next week will be Unfriended. That'll be a short one. And then we'll jump into the Predator franchise, which I know nothing about. And I only know about Predator through Death Battles. So I do look forward to that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. I hope I made your day just a tiny little better. Hopefully you are subscribed, as we are so close to 100,000 subscribers. But until the next video, take care and cue the music.
We were playing